We used to fight for cartoonists in remote countries. We're now fighting for our freedoms in our democracy. Social media is a curse and a blessing for cartoonists because in a way you get into trouble on social media. I like the notion of being from an identity that is made of other identities, and that is Geneva.
Aujourd'hui, en tant que maire de la ville de Genève, j'ai le privilège et l'honneur de remettre la médaille Genève reconnaissante à Bاتريك شابات, dessinateur de grand talent et fervent défenseur de la liberté d'expression et de la liberté de la presse.
Merci beaucoup.
Bاتريك شابات, in many countries of this world, cartoonists are being thrown in jail, yet here we are in the town hall of Geneva where you just received a prize of appreciation from the municipality. How come?
What's going on in Geneva, where satirists and cartoonists get a decoration from the city, which is something ironic when you think of it, because it's an official act, and we tend to be careful with these and not take them too seriously. And I think in this time we're living in, where you have a caricature sitting at the White House in the most powerful place of the world, it's actually important to have political cartoonists who just show things as they are, that the emperor is naked. And I think they cut through the noise of this post-truth chaos that we live in. So it's an homage for the whole profession, I guess.
And what is the difference maybe between Switzerland and other countries? Maybe that humor towards politicians works here in a way? I mean, that would be kind of a twist because Switzerland is not really famous for humor, right?
Switzerland is not known for humor, though humor and self-humor is very strong in Switzerland, and that surprises people, for example, coming from France, where there's a lot of deference to power. They are amazed to see the self-criticism that Swiss are able of. It's because we are a confederation, we are not a central state, and so that's the way Switzerland works.
As I understood, you have a very close connection also with Geneva. Why did you, in the end, choose to live here? Because you lived in many other places as well, right?
I did not choose to live here, my family did. We moved here, so I was born in Pakistan from a Lebanese mother and a Swiss father. I was raised in Singapore for a while, and then my father had decided to travel for 10 years and to come back to Switzerland. So he came back with 3 kids and his Lebanese wife. I like the notion of being from an identity that is made of other identities, and that is Geneva. So I've been here since the age of 5, but then with my wife and Frédéric, we lived in New York for 3 years, we had a kid in New York, we lived in Los Angeles for a year, and we travel a lot.
You have been traveling quite a lot for comic reportage, right?
Comic reportage is my other passion, and if I had a second life, I would be doing this all the time. So I did 30 plus reportage like that. I went to places like the slums of Nairobi, Gaza during a previous war, during a ceasefire, death row in America, many reportage and many places. And it's always incredibly a blessing to be doing journalism and to see what people are going through and how people live on the other side of the world, and then come back to Geneva and the lake and the fountain. This is the archive.
Take us way back.
Back in time?
Back in time to little Shaabat.
Okay. 1980.
1980. You were how old?
I was 13. Oh, so that's my hero, Inspector Turbo. Uh-huh. He works for Interpol. He's a sort of James Bond.
European James Bond?
Yes, and that's his adventures, you see?
Ah, but it's already like full stories also.
Yeah. Comics, of course. What do you think? So someone told me, you're such a maniac, you could have been a serial killer.
Okay, that's a strange compliment.
I know. But it means that I'm very precise and dedicated in a way, and you can see that, right? See, it's on the back of school material. This is like French grammar, and on the reverse side, I would draw.
Your parents, were they happy about your
My grade?
your grades, first of all, and about this whole drive that you have?
Yeah, I mean, my parents were pretty happy because I was a good student. I mean, so I was good at school, so no complaints.
No complaints to that.
But a lot of drawings.
Did you have like some kind of moment where you actually decided that you would like to do this as a living, or was it just a natural flow?
No, that was my passion. That was my hobby. And you're not supposed to live out of your hobby or to make anything more than fun out of it. But it turns out I became a cartoonist. First, I wanted to be a train conductor. I wanted to conduct trains. Then I wanted to be a doctor, surgeon.
The precision, I see.
Using my hands. And then it turned out I got a chance to send my cartoons when I was in high school to the Geneva local newspaper, La Suisse, which doesn't exist now. And they published my cartoons, and I got intoxicated with that feeling of being published. That was great. See, that's the maniac. So I'm detailing all the gadgets. It's a James Bond kind of hero. He has his little gadgets. The shoe with the blade, that's a classic.
Yeah.
The pen with a blade, another classic. I'm sure you have one.
Like every journalist.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I invented the Apple Watch. Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow, they owe me some copyright. It was back in 1980. I did invent the Apple Watch. It's exactly the design. Because the New York Times first told me they would not have political cartoons, but then coming through the back door with the Herald Tribune, the New York Times took over the Herald Tribune, and I became a cartoonist for the New York Times, which was my dream when I went to New York at the age of 27. And it lasted for a good while, and we had cartoons translated in Chinese, which was interesting, Spanish, on all the New York Times websites, and in the international editions. So we were expanding political cartoons, but then something happened. A cartoon that was not by me, but by a Portuguese colleague, was reprinted by the New York Times, and it stirred some controversy, and then the New York Times decided to drop all political cartoons. That was in 2019. So I'm thinking I need to first think about the topic. I'm working for the Boston Globe.
So today you finished one for the Swiss daily Le Temps, and now you're starting one for the Boston Globe. That's quite a pace, no?
Voila, that's quite a pace. And I'm going to actually finish this cartoon tomorrow morning.
Okay, so out of the 7 days of the week, how many days are you actually drawing a cartoon?
5. I don't work
5.
on weekends.
Great.
I always take 2 hours to look for ideas, sketches. I do different sketches, 4, 5, 6, sometimes different sketches, and I send them, and then we kind of discuss or have a vote. With the Boston Globe, very often I let them kind of pick because they are in their mood, you know.
Okay.
And so I need to come up with a topic. So when I'm looking for cartoon ideas, I need silence and be, you know, thoughtful and concentrate, and it's tiring. It's gymnastics really for the brain. And then when I do the line art, the pencil and then pen, and then I scan and then I do the color. So when I ink my cartoon or when I colorize it, I can listen to stuff. I can listen to the news. I can listen to a debate. But the first part of the work, it's only concentration. Get to work.
We're looking forward.
One more.
Thanks a lot. How much have social media changed your work? Because obviously we are getting in a time where visuals or visualizations are getting more and more important over these platforms. Did this have any effect on your job?
Social media is a curse and a blessing for cartoonists because in a way you get into trouble on social media, but on the other side, our work has never been so much seen. So it's also interesting. Trump said that tariff is the most beautiful word in the dictionary. He said that many times, huh?
Yeah, I'm wondering which dictionary that is.
His own. My American colleagues, they really draw Trump with tiny, tiny little hands.
So we were speaking about solitary confinement before, but actually you're very much embedded into newsrooms, right?
Well, not physically, but I do work with the newsrooms through messages and calls. Yeah, of course. And I like that. I mean, it's the interaction with the newsroom that makes the job interesting.
So you do also like variations of the same idea, same topic?
It's all about the same topic. It's different ideas on the Trump tariffs, the trade war, and the effect on the stock market. I like to dig deeper into one topic and try to find different ways to tackle it. So you're going to vote on the sketches, okay?
That's great. So far, that's my favorite.
Okay, I'm preparing the sketches to send to the Boston Globe now. Voila.
That was it?
This is it.
So it's 8:05.
Double day, but I'm done for today. I'm gonna let them pick a sketch. I'll be back tomorrow morning to finalize the sketch.
Which one did they decide to order?
So the Boston Globe told me overnight, they were like, the first one, this one, you know? Mm-hmm. But I think I'm gonna change it slightly. I'm gonna just use the word stability. We don't need prosperity here. Mm-hmm. Voila.
Great.
So I get to work.
Job it is to protect whistleblowers and prevent corruption and wrongdoing.
NPR Scott Orsley is here to explain. Hey, Scott.
Hi.
All right, Scott, let's start off with egg.
4. Avian flu just continues to ravage the chicken.
So we're gonna use a contrast. We're gonna use like cold nuances, blue for the background, and warm colors for Trump, the orange man. I think I'm pretty much done.
So how much time did it take you to do this one?
What was that, an hour and a half?
Yeah, 1.5. And yesterday another 2?
And yesterday 2 hours.
Yeah, 3.5, 4 hours.
And years of experience.
Obviously.
Of course.
Here we are at the FIFDH.
FIFDH, that's a film festival on human rights. We're going to be seeing a picture, a film, Democracy Under Siege, which is of course about the US, but it's a film around Ann Telnes, my colleague from the Washington Post. She was in the news over something she did, which was to me quite beautiful. She quit for a matter of principle. She quit the Washington Post after, I think it was 17 years working for them, over a cartoon that was refused, that was censored, that she could not publish. And that cartoon was just showing truth, the facts as they are, which is the tech moguls, caving into Donald Trump, the new king, and paying their tribute to Donald Trump. And one of them was Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos turns out to be one of the richest men in the world and the owner of the Washington Post, so the newspaper would not run that cartoon. So we're going to be talking about that, about Antelnes, and about the state of political cartooning in the US, and let's say the diminishing appetite of publishers for showing courage and speaking truth to power and doing their job, which is to be critical of the people in power.
You have been in this business quite some time now. Talk to us about limits on humor and limits on satire. Have you seen a shift in this perspective during your career?
The limits, well, there've been limits all along, but they've been evolving in a way. And the path for satire has been getting narrower, I would say. I mean, political cartoons are under different types of pressure. There's, of course, the pressure of extremists. Charlie Hebdo, for example, that was the worst case. It was the worst form of censorship, which is killing.
Those are the clear threats, let's say.
Yeah, the most extreme, I would say. Then came more and more over the last 15 years, censorship through society, through the public space, the era of sensitivity, people who get offended by humor, jokes, and the whole question of what can we laugh about, and maybe some sort of overreaction by some parts of the public using social media, which is a powerful leverage. And there is the classical form of pressure, which is the government pressure. Yeah. And this is increasing, actually. This is increasing. We used to fight for cartoonists in remote countries. We're now fighting for our freedoms in our democracies.
And do you feel it also in, let's say, in perspective of censorship? Has it a personal effect on you, like self-censorship?
Self-censorship, that's a big word, and it's actually part of the job in a way. Self-censorship is also professionalism, if you want. In this business, you censor yourself daily in the sense that you look for ideas. In my line of business, I'm not trying to provoke for the sake of provocation. I'm trying to aim right in the middle of the target. So this implies a form of self-censorship, which is called elimination of some ideas in the thought process. Otherwise, if you're alluding to the pressure from the extremists, the topics of religion and stuff like that, again, if you're trying to be as precise, as just as possible, well, you can control your message, you cannot control the way your message is going to be received and the reactions of people who get offended or angry about what you do.
We live in what some people call the post-factual times. How is it possible to work under these conditions?
It feels like a post-truth era, like an information chaos we are more and more living in. And we used to have different opinions, but now it feels like we have different opinions of what the facts are. Cartoons in their very simplicity. A cartoon is so simple. It's a line art on a white, paper sheet. I just hope that cartoons in their simplicity can show things as they are. And maybe that's an antidote to propaganda and disinformation. Well, that's my ideal.
Which can also be seen by your engagement in your foundation. Would you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so the foundation, the Freedom Cartoonist Foundation, it emerged from an initiative by Kofi Annan at the UN in 2006. And we have been since 2012 presenting an international award to salute cartoonists not only for their art, but for their courage and for the conditions in which they are doing their work. So we have saluted cartoonists from Malaysia. Zunar was risking 49 years in jail. We have saluted Gado from Kenya, who was fired of his newspaper because of his cartoons denouncing corruption. Muzakart of Turkey was another winner, and he could not make it to Geneva because he was in jail. Very often cartoons are just a symbol of what's going on in society in general and of the state of freedom of the press in a given country.
So humor is a barometer for democracy, in a sense.
Humor is a barometer for democracy, that is true. It is the canary in the coal mine. When the canary dies, it means that the air is getting toxic.
Notre job est d'essayer de faire sens du monde qui nous entoure et puis d'ajouter quelques grammes de légèreté et puis parfois quelques milligrammes de réflexion.
Patrick, it's kind of counterintuitive to see a cartoonist on stage. How come you are on stage?
It's new, yeah, it's a new development. And I think it's interesting to actually find new ways to carry the message of humor, the message of freedom of speech. And the stage is my new page. It's a blank page. And it's been touring, my show has been touring for a year. And it's been greeted very well by the audiences and by the media. So it's a great experience. Well, you get to see that cartoons actually can work on the stage. They can work in three dimensions. You have the feedbacks, you have the laughs, you have some people are funny also in the audience, the way they react. You know, people who go to the theaters, they are my age or a bit older. I wish they would bring more their kids to the show, because the message of what can we say today, what is the path of humor, how difficult is it to have a dialogue also across generation and in our society through humor. This is a message that I want to address to the kids. If you give your own experience on stage through your personal story, people will listen. And I had this very good experience with people who came and told me, you know, I was of that opinion and I listened to you and it opened my mind, which is the greatest compliment I could get.